All right. Welcome to the e-learning hot seat from lmspulse.com, from OpenLMS, and the eLearn podcast. Excellent. My name is Ladek. Welcome to you this morning. We're here bright and early, 10 a.m. I guess, for people who are stock traders and stuff, we're already they're 3 hours in. But it's 10 a.m. here on the East Coast of the United States on February 3rd. And my guest is Estefania Fernandez, who is the founder of eBloom, which I'm excited to dive into, what eBloom is, how we got there, your journey into this online learning space, this e-learning space, and this community platform really that you have put together that I think has some really interesting potential and has a really fantastic goal. Before we go down that path though, Estefania, why don't you take 30 seconds and just introduce yourself and tell us about who you are?
Okay, thank you for having me. My name is Estefania. I'm from Spain, but I live in Berlin. So right now it's 4 p.m. here. It's almost dark. And so my journey started as an entrepreneur, actually. That's my background, and in the travel industry. So my journey is basically from entrepreneurship to innovation. And in between innovation, it came with consultancy and education. So I'm working as a lecturer. Yeah, I was working in normal business schools, private business schools here in Germany and in Spain. And the e-learning came as an idea. And it was also looking for solving specific problems that I was seeing in these schools. On one hand, there was like a pandemic, and there was like we had to move everything to online courses. And some of my colleagues, like very academic, they didn't have like they just it was a bit more complicated to jump into all the digital all the digitals. And for me, I was used to that because I also have a meetup group, and I create events every month about business model innovation. So I was already used for creating workshops using mural with collaborative tools and virtual whiteboards, while also organizing online events, etc. So it was a bit of like that, the lack of digital tools or digitization in the schools and universities. And on the other hand, also a bit of obsolete content in terms of, for example, I'm teaching project management, and not everywhere they include agile methodologies, for example, in their module specifications, learning outcomes of the basically of the modules. And nowadays, I mean, like who it's like we need to learn this. We really have to get used also to be prepared for the new way of work too, especially when there are so many people working remotely.
Of course. Yeah.
We need to be more agile, etc. Same with this with innovation. We were learning a bit of design thinking, but yeah, I just wanted to make it more collaborative. So the idea of eBloom comes from that point. And it was a matter of like experimentation, to be honest. So I started experimenting with my students. So I invited them, I gave them a
So this,
presentation.
did the whole thing began with as a part of your lecturing, as part of your professorship?
Well, it was kind of a side. It was not really in the university. It was a side, like playing with this idea. So I presented the idea to the students. They liked it, and then we invited them for free to attend my courses. So I prepared like a storyline from like this from why innovation matters, design thinking. We did a live workshop, design thinking workshop. They all collaborated. The point here is that they get motivated because they work on a real challenge, and that's the social commitment that we have. It's basically democratization of education also. So the training are for free for NGO partners. We partner with NGO, and they get the online courses for free with a code. It's easy on online e-learning. And they present a challenge, and that challenge is the one we use to learn the theoretical concepts into the practice. We take it in a real, we take the example, like the real challenge from the NGO. We work on the challenge. The winner idea, it goes to a project management process. That's why
cool.
we always learn. So first we learn the innovation tools. We do it. We choose the idea, and then the team can learn like the story, the background of agile methodologies, and then we learn a Scrum, and they have to do the project in one sprint. And with this we use the platform, the learning platform, digital tool, so like the whiteboard, the virtual whiteboard. In this case we're using Nova Tools,
Okay.
and then the Slack community. So we do, like, we have a channel, we can make it private so that people can keep talking on the Slack, and that's it. Yeah.
So we got a great overview there. Before I take a next step and ask you a question, I want to remind everybody that we are live right now with Estefania. If you do have a question and you're watching on LinkedIn or Facebook or YouTube, please put it in the chat there. We do see the comments, and we'd love to interact with you. It could be a question, it could be an observation, it could be a challenge. You could put your own story in the comments as well, and we'd love to share those stories as well. I also want to just give a shout out to this type of story, this type of conversation, this type of continued evolution and pushing towards the future of where e-learning is going to be discussed at our e-learning success summit right here. Oh, I guess they can't see it. Oh, sorry. And our the eLearn Success Series is a series of 4 events that are happening over the year here in 2022. Our first session, which is the design session, is happening on February 23rd. All of the tickets are free, and so go over to elearnsuccessseries.com and grab your ticket right now. Estefania, so I'm really interested in a very specific question. So this started as a way for you to present these challenges to your graduate students to actually have real tangible problems to work on, and you partner with NGOs in order to help them solve problems, right? So it's lifting all boats, as we say. What can you give me, like, 1 or 2 examples of like very specific challenges that the NGOs are putting on the table for you, and where are they located? Are these all European? Are these all German? Or like, where are these NGOs located? Or are they global, or what?
Think about eBloom is founded on the 15th of July officially of last year, so it's quite fresh. So it's so this is I have an example here. That's a reusable coffee mug.
Okay, yeah.
That comes from live workshop we did with an NGO from Nigeria. So that already solves one of the questions. It's like, no, it doesn't need. It's e-learning, so we can be anywhere.
Sure.
So every NGO is welcome, and actually we're looking for more partners to help more people. They can go and write me directly. I will send them a voucher, and they will present a challenge, and we will work on it. So this is an example. We did this design thinking workshop. By the way, in the workshop, the student can be a team member or a facilitator. That's the way they gain confidence. They expose themselves by doing it. And those who want to be a team member only and not a facilitator, they receive a link, which is a type form basically, to give constructive feedback to the facilitator. And the facilitator receives a specific training to lead a workshop. In the Nova Tools, in the tool, we can even implement videos. So every step of the design thinking process is explained, and there is like a time box, etc. It's everything set. And the participants, they just, of course, they play with the Post-its, they bring their ideas, then we select the idea. In this case, that was Coffee for Edu. That was hashtag Coffee for Edu.
Okay.
And there was basically people could donate €1. The challenge was, how can we create a more creative fundraising campaign for Back to School Africa?
Okay.
Back to School Africa is supporting kids they are out of school in Nigeria, because in Nigeria, the fees for school, they cost 40 euro.
Mhm.
And the average salary, it's 50 euro. So
Mhm.
let's say that there is like a monoparental family with few kids. It's quite challenging.
Yeah, for sure. Is that a mo
And
is that per month, I assume? Is it 40 euros per month usually?
no,
Mhm.
40 euro per year.
Okay. All right.
But it's quite challenging for a family. So there are many schools that are out of school, and that was the challenge. So how can we create a more creative fundraising campaign, creating awareness of this problem,
Mhm.
without first asking for data
Mhm.
or just asking for money, because every NGO is asking for money, right? So why should I give you money? It's also like NGOs should be a bit more innovative too, like businesses, huh? So it's
Mhm.
like a lot of competition. How can we be a bit more creative? So the coffee for Edu was the winner idea, and here was like people can donate one more euro in this case, because
Mhm.
we're in Europe, for every coffee they drink. But it was a bit complicated in terms of logistics, etc. So then from one idea, you connect dots, and at the end it was like, why don't we uh, actually create reusable coffee mugs, that nowadays we're getting rid of all plastics, etc., and one use stuff. Why don't we create basically a reusable coffee cup, and we sell it, and with this margin the money goes directly to the NGO, directly to the kids in Nigeria. So
Mm.
we did this prototype. This is the prototype. It's not it looks like plastic, but it's not. It's recycled plastic, but because it's the MVP, and we just presented it actually last week in the street with some music, etc. So it was a lot of fun seeing everyone involved, and the
Cool.
acceptance was very nice, even
Mhm.
though it was very cold in Berlin that day. I have to say we suffered a bit for 3 hours outside. um but yeah, and we're very happy about this, and my role here is I help them to launch the project. Now it's up to them.
Sure.
uh
Sure.
that's the point, no?
Yeah.
The idea is basically that they have also a more sustainable way of generating money. And the objective for this year for this NGO is paying the fees for 250 children in Nigeria.
Wow. It's a nice
Yeah,
goal. Fantastic.
let's see.
So take me then to the eBloom platform, and how I would, anybody who's listening here, how would I interact with it? Do I come in and I'm looking to upskill myself? Do I bring my organization and I'm looking to upskill my organization and staff in my organization? Like just walk me through, like, how do I interact? Like, what do I use eBloom for?
So eBloom is for learning innovation, basically.
Mhm.
So it's more oriented to business graduates,
Mhm.
actually. And Jen said they're looking for purpose, and also they need to gain experience, and they need to gain confidence. That's the main thing. That's why we create these open spaces with the live workshops. We also have live events every fourth Wednesday of the month, where they
Mhm.
can just present and practice their pitches if they have, for example, a business idea. And then we have also the Slack community. So it's meant for that. At the moment we're at the really beginning. So we have specific courses, and we're working lean. And actually we're looking for more collaborators too, and because we need more content. That's the
Mhm.
main thing. But it's focusing two specific modules: social innovation, which is this first one, which is already done, and the next one will be, it's not totally ready, is entrepreneurship. Social entrepreneurship, and goes from where the good ideas come from till the pitch.
Mm.
So, but of course there's like a lot of processes, a lot of steps in between while you're creating a business. So that's the thing. And how you can register online on the website. There is a free trial, because
Mhm.
as I said, we're starting, so there is a free trial, and we are basically working on more projects today, actually, I'm meeting some new students coming from Minerva University, actually from the States, and they're going
Which
to
university?
run
From which university?
Minerva University.
Where is that? I don't know that one.
And so it's in San Francisco, but they travel every yeah, they do like 6 months in Seoul, 6 months in
Oh,
Berlin, etc. And Berlin is that's why I'm here. Berlin is the epicenter of startups in Europe too. So there are
mhm.
like few universities in like this. They are traveling and they spend 6 months here. For example, there is one from Spain, also is Mondragon Team Academy, MTA. They do the same concept.
Excellent.
They spent 4 years of the bachelor. They spent 6 months in Pune, India, 6 months in Seoul, 6 months in Berlin, 6 months in LA, and I can't remember, but it's like, I mean, I'm so jealous when I see
Yeah, I
them
was gonna
because
say, it sounds like a really mind-blowing experience. I wish that was something I could both afford and was accepted into, when I did my graduate degrees. But regardless, so
yeah.
here's my question about eBloom. So this online learning platform, as the founder of this, as the creator of this, what were your biggest challenges in getting the platform up and running? There's a lot of ed tech and education entrepreneurs out there who, much like you, say, look, I've got a great idea. It could be as simple as putting my course online, or it could be I have this whole ecosystem I want to create, much like eBloom. I'd love to learn about what are some of those, the most important challenges that you faced when you
Ooh.
were considering about how do I even put this platform together? Was just let me stop there and just what first comes to mind for you?
Okay, several things, but first thing was thinking about the whole process. How would that work? How would that be different than any other, e-learning academy in the market?
Mm,
Because there are so many options for. I mean, you can learn on YouTube. Also,
sure.
why should you pay? Like people won't pay because I mean, we learn a lot on like free content out there. So the difference was like creating all this much more complex
Hmm.
process, which is not one online course, but it's a learning experience with a social impact. So kind of like generating the whole idea. I spent a lot of time on the beach thinking about it.
You're not supposed to tell people that.
Literally,
I
no,
spent a
no,
lot
it
of
was
time
late.
in my office working really, really hard, like modeling and whiteboards. No, it was on the beach. Let's be honest.
Actually, it was literally because I started last year thinking about this, and I was in an island in Spain,
Mhm.
Fuerteventura, that actually belongs to Africa. It should belong to Africa, and it's 25 degrees there in December, while in Berlin is -10 maybe. So
Sounds like a better option.
I was yeah, I was there working also remotely and thinking about this. So yeah, I was mentioning on purpose this on the beach because it was literally like this.
That's fantastic. So, okay, so take us through those. So first it was about how do you add value, right? So how do you have a value proposition that would be interesting enough? Because like you said, it's a challenge that many people face in being educational entrepreneurs of there is so much free content. There are so many experts out there sort of giving away not giving away, but providing their knowledge and expertise for free, right? Through YouTube or those kinds of things. And what was ultimately the thing that you landed on that you think is that value proposition? Is it connecting to NGOs? Is it the community? Is it the experience? Is it a certificate? Like, what is it that people or students get out of it that say, yeah, I'm
I
going to give you my $25 or euros or whatever it is?
Yeah, so that's something I call learning by helping.
Mm-hmm.
So it's something like learning by doing, obviously, but it's like, okay, you are actually taking action, but with a social impact. So I think that's the main value proposition, that you are actually taking action while you're helping, someone, like
Mm.
in this case, an organization, and while doing this, you are gaining practice. So yeah, the opportunity also of uh, being a facilitator, that's also something. I did study for example, my executive MBA, and I did a lot of training, obviously, in these topics. And there was also like, this training in innovation, they are normally quite pricey, but also you don't find there many opportunities to expose yourself to be the facilitator when you want to gain the practice. And how did I do it? Well, I created my Meetup group more than 5 years ago. So I was like exposing myself.
Now this is okay. So this is the story behind the story, right? So I'm glad that we got there. It's great, excellent. So first of all, for everybody who doesn't know, what is a Meetup group? Like, I mean, literally, obviously, people come and meet up. They meet together. But was this on Meetup.com or whatever? Like literally.
Yeah, that's basically what happened.
A successful Meetup community. Okay.
Yeah, actually, my community has now like more than 6,000 members. And I started in 2016. And the reason why I started, it was like no plan, no strategy, nothing. It was more like I was in Berlin learning from the ecosystem, startup ecosystem, etc. So I was attending to different events. And there was one that is called Put Your Idea Under Pressure.
Okay.
And that meetup is led by Christoph Radke, who is actually a business angel. He's one of the most popular persons in Germany in this startup environment. And so you go to this event and you pitch your idea. And 99% of the times, Christoph tells you, quit now.
Sure.
Because that's not going to, like, he's very knowledgeable because he's been in this, working with the startups for so many years that he gives you the reasons, obviously, and he puts you in contact with other people so you can also check, etc., what is wrong about your idea. After one of those events, I recognized that not everyone was there for pitching. It was, people were there to meet other people and to listen to other people's ideas. And then were coming to you if you're in the same industry, etc. So I asked him, like, Christoph, your event is very cool, but poor people, sometimes, I think some ideas could work if you use innovation technology, also innovation frameworks, innovation methodologies. And then I asked him, is there any event like this where, people can come with an idea, but we all work on this idea so the entrepreneur gets the feedback, and who knows, maybe some kind of synergies happen, and then you find even a co-founder, like I was dreaming already, finding co-founders like this way, etc. And so he said, like, oh, you can organize it. Here you have the space. The venue is it's called GTech, the German Technological Entrepreneurship Center in Berlin. And I was like, okay. So I did my first event, and it was design thinking workshop for entrepreneurs, because that was the main idea. And 2 months after I created the Meetup on meetup.com, we had 300 members.
Wow.
And I was like, okay, that seems that it's interesting for the people. So the name now is businessmodelrepublic.com.
Business
and
nice.
Yes, because that was more than 5 years ago, and we are not doing all the time design thinking. That will be boring. So we started with design thinking, then design sprints came, then we have monthly events about agile, basically agile frameworks like OKRs, Scrum, whatever. Then we also have alternatives to the current economy. We had meetups about the purpose economy, for example, or the donut economy, or more in terms of sustainability. We also invited like great inspiring founders of environmental startups, etc. So that's all related, no? And that's the four main blocks of eBloom. Entrepreneurship, innovation, sustainability, and agile.
Awesome. Fantastic.
Yeah.
And so what was the moment that you knew that, from this community that you created, this Meetup community, what was the moment that you said, look, I need to have a platform for this. I need good, because it's a huge investment of your time. It's a huge investment of your energy. And you make a choice about where to take your own personal life, your own personal career. And so what was that moment where you said, yeah, this idea has enough energy, has enough cachet, has enough interest that I'm going to invest in building out a platform and taking it online and doing that.
Well, we had a pandemic, so
Ah,
it's like a lockdown. It was a lockdown. You can't do anything at all.
uh-huh.
And here is also in Benin is especially cold. So after my time on the beach, I had to go back to to my house in Berlin. I
Yeah.
was like, okay, this is the investment of the year.
Uh,
And so I started actually I bought one of those online courses like create your online academy.
Really, it was it was
Yeah,
it was a
I bought.
course that you bought it. Nice. And you're like, how do I create an academy?
Yeah, I watched a lot of YouTube videos at the beginning and everything. So uh yeah, I had to choose the tools I wanted to use, but
Mhm.
and I was curious to learn also more about web development, etc. So I did the WordPress. I just use a WordPress
Okay.
and WordPress and plugins. I mean, it's not that complicated, but it
I
takes
love how
time.
you just kind of shrug your shoulders. Whatever. I just set up a WordPress site and some plugins and boom, it was done. I mean, for many of the people who especially, so many of the educators out there, as you said earlier, they are, they've built whole careers around being educators. And so what the pandemic has put on their plate right now is now you also have to be, able to do video. You got to be kind of a TV star. You also have to do great audio. You've got to, be a designer, you design thinking. And now you're saying, hey, look, there's this entrepreneurial stuff. And oh, by the way, there's all this technology. Um, so like, tell me about that. Like when you said, hey, I threw a WordPress site together, with some plugins. I'm lucky enough to be that, digitally savvy. That's what I've done for my life. But is there any advice that you threw out there for other education entrepreneurs about getting started with this, or being
Hire
patient?
someone.
Just lots of coffee and late nights, or what is like how like what's your advice for overcoming some barriers?
No, I was kidding, but I was going to mention like hire someone to do it for you.
Oh, okay.
No,
That's what
I
people would say for sure.
no, it's. I mean, it's been a lot of work. I have to say, I have to admit that I subestimated the work.
Mm,
I was thinking like, yeah, I can do that, like the WordPress. I mean, plugins, but then I suffer while I was doing it, really. And eventually, I also got a bit of help, technical help, because I was getting a bit crazy or frustrated with some stuff. Um, but when I decided to do this, it was also I wanted to learn about that,
mm,
because my whole point was also like, now I have this year to do it. So it was like, I'm going to set the basis, and if it doesn't work, that was my thought. If it doesn't work, I gained experience because I was not risking that much. And
mm,
and my thought was like, and if I have to also like look for a job, I basically have a knowledge that every company will need eventually, because every single company needs to upskill their employees, etc. And
absolutely.
they need also like the knowledge of the LMS, and that was the whole idea. So if someone wants to do it, yeah, be patient and
Ask for
and
help.
yeah, ask for help, really, because you can there are so many options out there that you can get crazy to choose only before you take any action. No, like the research will already take you ages, because there are so many tools out there, and
Right.
then you have to decide what is best for you, and
Mhm.
that will take already a lot of time.
Fantastic. I'm going to pause there for a second. I want to remind everybody I'm here with Estefania Fernandez, and we are live in the eLearn hot seat. This is, if you have a question for Stephanie, if you are an education entrepreneur, if you are someone who is considering, building a masterclass, putting your course online, whatever, this is a great moment to put those questions in the comments. If you're in LinkedIn or you're in Facebook or YouTube, we do see the comments and we'd love to have that discussion with you. I also want to just give a shout out. I saw Richard Hall just a few minutes ago. He just said, good afternoon and have a great day. And I just want to acknowledge that comment. Thanks so much, Richard. We would love to have, same to you. I hope that you'll stay safe and strong with all your friends and family as well. I also want to invite everyone, this kind of conversation is something that we're going to be doing over at the eLearn Success Summit. The eLearn Success Series. I keep calling it the Summit, which is what it was called last year. But this, our first session of the 4 sessions we're going to have is called our design session, and it's on February 23rd, which is in just 20 days. Hey, yikes. Well, we have some really fantastic speakers. We have Michelle Aukers of Learning Uncut. We have Jane Bozarth, Dr. Jane Bozarth of the Learning Guild. Those are our 2 featured speakers in our keynote. And we have just a bunch of other great speakers that are going to be talking about very specific, tangible, aspects around design and what's important to be, in this profession of instructional design. So come over there and join us and get, here's the cool thing. All of the tickets are free. So all you have to do is go to elearnsuccessseries.com and grab a ticket. Estefania.
Yes.
Where is eBloom at now? Like, what if you look forward for the next 6 months to 12 months? You have this platform, you're already doing projects, you're connecting graduate students with these cool opportunities with NGOs. What are your sort of your immediate next steps to continue to grow the platform, to refine it, to make it better?
So yes, first we need more collaborators, we need more partners. So feel free to contact me if
Absolutely.
anyone is interested. And so we are right now in the process of content creation. That's the most important, no? Because we have the process, but we really need to finish these 2 first modules, because at the moment it's been only me. Mm-hmm. And it's basically, it was not that long. So that's the main thing. And mm-hmm. Of course, we're now also getting more people in the team, because we have also some students participating, etc. We have also partnerships with programs like U for Impact. It's very nice, very interesting, the amount of things going on nowadays. Also very interesting projects like these ones, like the social entrepreneurship incubator. They're based in Singapore, and this, for example, U for Impact in Spain, or there is another association called organization called On Purpose. They are based in Paris, and they are organizations that match students with social companies. So we got in touch also, and there are a few students creating already the next events, the next workshops, etc., and they gain credits for their studies.
Nice. Mm-hmm. Even
so
better.
That's the whole thing. Yeah, because they work on something with purpose, actually, again, and they get credits. So that's the whole idea, no? And that's why I also created eBloom, because I think that the education system has to be more collaborative and more interactive.
Fantastic. What if I'm a student listening, and our graduate students, do I have to bring a whole class with me in order to do something like this, or do I sign up individually and then I'm paired with the project and I can work on a project that way?
So individually, it's totally fine, because the point is that you can meet people here too. And the e-learning, you can do it however you want. We have an app, by the way, and the whole idea is that you can also listen to the course without being all the time in front of the computer. So honestly, everyone is quite fed up of being in front of the computer all the time nowadays. So the point is also that you can go for a walk, or you can be you can listen to a course while cooking. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So the design is meant to be also for only audio. That was also the idea. And then in the live workshop, the people apply. So there is an application. So like if you go to the website on live workshops, you should apply to participate in the workshop. Why? Because first you have to have done the theoretical, you have had to learn the theoretical concepts in order
Mm-hmm.
to participate in the workshop. So you're not coming with like zero knowledge. So that's the thing. And then it's when in this application is when you ask, I want to be a facilitator or I want to be a team member. So that's the whole point. And in the workshop, you will meet other people, and then you can keep in contact with the Slack.
Fantastic. I love it. We're big fans of using Slack as a community tool, but also, in our community as well. It's just really interesting to see what people are interested in, and what are some of the hottest topics in your Slack community. Like what bubbles to the top? Is it, here's my idea, what do people think? Give me feedback on my idea, or is it, how do I find job opportunities, or what are like the top things that your community is talking about?
Actually, the job opportunities is something obviously students want to have.
Sure, of course.
And at the beginning, I was like, okay, I can't do that because I can't do everything and I can't really look for, like
No.
all the. But we have a channel for job opportunities because we partner also with a couple of companies
Mm-hmm.
like German tech jobs, for example. They are looking for, you know, uh, basically graduates and so on. So they were happy to join and to post from time to time some posts about like jobs. I do sometimes whenever I see something interesting in the community about like innovation, so on, I also share it. But yeah, as I said at the beginning, it's like it's a bit harder. Like there's like not so much interaction, but we're getting there. And the Slack is used mainly also for the private channels, also the tool,
Sure.
like the teams that work in the projects. Yeah.
Fantastic. Stephanie, this has been a fantastic conversation about eBloom and your entrepreneurial journey, your educational entrepreneurial journey. I love this. Final question for you. I'd like to wrap this up is, what are you personally looking forward to most? Is there, finishing up the courses? Is it a new piece of technology? Is it, getting out of your house and meeting people, doing meetups in person again? Like what's, over the next 6 months, in 2022, what are you most excited about?
It will be awesome to do what I call a Bloom camp.
Ooh.
That would be awesome. And I already have, well, that's why I was in the Canary Island because it's very interesting for someone from North Europe to go to the South and enjoy. So the reason I was there, I was also collaborating with digital community.
Uh-huh.
And as I said, last year I was there, and everyone was coming from North Europe to the Canary Island, and it was funny because I met someone there, a Berliner, and I told him like I have this idea of the eLearning Academy. I will build a Slack community for people to interact, and he was like, "Oh, that's interesting. Let's build a Slack community for the digital nomads here." And it's like a huge success now. It's like amazing.
Wow.
And I went there because one of my friends, he has 2 hotels, and we started checking the option to transform the hotel also to digital nomads. So
Mm-hmm.
it's called Surfing Colors. It's a hotel for surfers, and there is like a surf school, and now there is a co-living and a co-working. And it's funny, I told him, because in the corridor there is this message: "See you in the next wave," for surfers.
And
I was like,
is this in Tenerife, or where is this?
and Fuerteventura.
No, Puerto Rico.
Yeah, it was like very appropriate these days. Yeah. So in next year I would like to definitely do something like that where we can meet also in person, etc. But yeah, I want to have like the whole process, the website. Of course, I want to improve it and the whole content and so on. That the message is more clear and we become obviously more popular.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Awesome. Estefania Fernandez, thank you so much for taking time out of your, I guess, cold winter afternoon in Berlin to speak with us here on the eLearning Hot Seat. It's been a pleasure speaking with you about eBloom. I encourage everyone to come over and check you out. It's ebloom.net, correct? Or e-bloom.net.
Yeah, exactly.
You have Chris has put the website up here for people to check it out.
Yeah.
If you are listening to the recording of this, please do feel free to put your comments in, is in LinkedIn, in Facebook, or in on YouTube, because we do see them. We're happy to respond to you or connect you with Estefania or whatever. And then final shout out is make sure that you come over and have more of these conversations. We're here every week, but I'm really interested in you coming over to the eLearn design session. The design session at the eLearn Success Series. It's happening on February 23rd, which is just in 20 days. We're gonna, we've got some fantastic speakers, and it's entirely free. All you have to do is go to eLearnSuccessSeries.com and sign up, and you will have access to the entire day of talks. Estefania, thank you once again.
Thank you.
All the luck, and we'll look forward to hearing about eBloom in the future.
Yeah, thank you very much, and have a nice day.